Live broadcasting can be a pressure cooker, and few people know that as well as Marty Slutsky. He's been in charge of pioneering technical work for the Oscars red carpet, multiple Super Bowls and halftime shows, the New York City Marathon, the Kentucky Derby, and the Winter Olympics. And all of that comes in between a career as a musician and the work he's been doing for the past 20 years or so, making sure that televised presidential debates go off without a hitch, at least as much as that's possible with the candidates still involved. Oh, and if the name Marty Slutsky sounds familiar, he's married to Sharon Ferrara, a previous guest here on Banner & Company. And if you want the story of how Sharon and Marty became a couple, make sure you give a listen to episode 2.
The name Slutsky wasn't really working for me.
I'm Demetria Kalodimos. It's Banner & Company. Well, when we say that all Nashville stories start or end with music, you are no exception.
That's correct.
Was that going to be your life, guitar slinger?
Yeah. Early on, yes, it was for sure. I was in bands from when I was in even junior high school. I was in bands.
And what was hot then?
It was like dance bands in New York City, playing at at people's bar mitzvahs and all kinds of. I had a band. I'm trying to remember the name of the band, but it was a basement band. We rehearsed at my house, and then we'd tour Jewish centers and various venues and the Y and all that kind of stuff.
But you saw a career in it or just a pastime?
No, it was just fun. It was just for fun. I think I wanted to be a cab driver at that point. That was my goal in
For
life.
real? Well, that was very lucrative back then, and I mean, probably still is in some ways.
And I was fascinated with cars. So the obvious thing was to be a cab driver. And but then I drifted.
What got you drifting?
What got me really drifting was realizing that I had to have some kind of career. I had to do something. That, being a drummer in a band in Queens, New York was not a big career move. So I went to college in upstate New York at the State University in Plattsburgh, and then I ended up at the getting a degree from a university in upstate New York, Glens Falls, New York. And then I met Fran McKendry, who was another guitar player, and the two of us started playing around in nightclubs in upstate New York, all over upstate New York, folk music and blues and that kind of stuff.
So did your path cross with famous folk?
Oh, yeah. Over the years, yes.
Drop
certainly.
some names.
Oh, God. Fleetwood Mac, Billy Preston, who else? There were a lot, yeah. Jimi Hendrix. We opened for Jimi Hendrix on tour. Yeah. And we were electric folk music, not just, And we also had a really incredible violinist, and he would play rock and roll, and then he'd switch to viola, and play a gentleman, Michael Dreyfus, who was a doctor, a licensed doctor, and he quit being a doctor to be in the band with us.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, and we ended up touring. It was a band called McKendree Spring. And we toured with everybody. Everybody loved us for the opening act. We loved being the opening act. That way, we would do our set on tour, opening for like Fleetwood Mac or James Taylor or someone else, or And our goal was to do our set and then get home in time to the hotel in time to watch Johnny Carson. That was the rule. We had to be back to watch Johnny Carson.
You guys weren't exactly tearing it up. You weren't like trashing hotel rooms. You were quietly watching Carson.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, no. We were not wild. We were not wild. We were we were an electric folk band.
Does any of that music still exist on tape? Or?
Oh, yeah. You look up McKendree Spring, and there are albums and concerts and all that stuff.
Did you learn the art of recording audio by doing?
Absolutely.
Just by figuring out the best way to make your group sound?
Yeah. Well, we had a management company. We were working in New York City as a house band at a place called the Bitter End in the Village,
Famous.
Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
We were living in upstate New York, but we'd keep flying back to New York and do a couple of nights at the Bitter End and then go back, back upstate. And we got discovered there. And a management company picked us up and started booking us all over the country at colleges, because we were kind of folk, but it was electric folk. So, and our violinist, Michael Dreyfus, was into playing wild kind of psychedelic stuff on the violin and viola, right? And all of a sudden, we were touring with big acts. Decca Records did our first like 3 or 4 albums were back with Decca. That was back in the day.
So, was it a natural groove then to go straight into some sort of work in the audio field?
Yes.
After music?
Yes, because when the band broke up for, I think, the second time, I had met Sharon, and we got along. And so I moved from Ithaca, New York, where I was living, to Nashville to be with Sharon. We met in Houston, Texas. She was singing with David Allan Coe. I like to call him David Allan Cohen, just because it irritated him, I think. So I moved in with Sharon, had a nice apartment here in Nashville, and 2 kids. Wow, boom. From being a hippie musician to being a stepdad. And it was great.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful ever since.
Sharon, just full disclosure here, one of our previous guests is your wife.
Yes.
The lovely Sharon Ferrara. And oddly enough, we've had David Allan Coe's son as a guest on the podcast, too. So I guess all encounters lead back to Banner and Company.
Yeah, I love it.
That's the way we'd like to think.
I love it.
There was a lot of audio work to be done here and work for someone that knew how to...
Oh, well, I worked as a bus driver and front of house mixer for Whisper and Bill. Yeah, but I did for Conway Twitty, right? Because he and Bill would tour together, so I would do the house mix. And then Bill always had this big slideshow with these giant screens.
Really? Multimedia back then?
Yes. Oh, Bill was high tech, man. And actually, he was great. And he's still my friend, you know. And I was touring with Bill as his bus driver, sound man, projectionist. And he got a spot on the soap opera, One Life to Live. So I went to New York for this, because they were doing a thing about country music on One Life to Live, right? So I met everybody, these crew, the people at ABC Television in the studios and working with them. And long story short, a month or two later, I got a job offer with ABC Television, right? And I went to work for ABC in New York, commuted back home to Nashville whenever I could get away on the weekends and stuff. And that's how I got into big-time television.
It's Banner and Company. I'm Demetria Kalodimos. We'll be right back.
Isso não é um lançamento de notebook. Esse é o seu lançamento. Os AI PCs da Lenovo com processadores Intel Core Ultra 9 aprendem com você e personalizam as necessidades do seu negócio, permitindo que os seus dados fiquem sempre protegidos. Essa é uma das várias soluções para ajudar você a ser mais você. Saiba mais em www.lenovo.com/IA para você.
Give us a picture of ABC at the time. I mean, they were a big deal.
Yeah.
Particularly sports, the Olympics, Monday Night Football. Was this the Rune Arledge era that you were working at?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rune knew my name. Especially if something didn't go right. But he was great. He was very nice, actually.
So did you have to start with soaps or something like that?
Yes, I did. All My Children. I spent a year at All My Children as the technical manager for it. And then I did Ryan's Hope.
I remember it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Launched a lot of careers on Ryan's Hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually a pretty good operation there. The actors were really good and fun. Because after we'd tape a show in the studio, then we'd all go to a bar and hang out for a while. And it was good, clean fun. It was nice.
So when did you get a chance to go out in the field?
After I'd been there a year or so, I became the manager and head of audio for the whole network.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to all the big events, the Olympics, the Super Bowl. I was in San Francisco doing the World Series when the earthquake hit. And all of a sudden I became head of a news bureau, which was all the sports cameramen and sports guys, because we were there, doing baseball.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come home because I wasn't doing baseball, but ABC said, no, you can't go home. You got to cover the earthquake. So I stayed in California, in San Francisco, I don't know, for a couple weeks, and until things got organized. Of course, everybody came to San Francisco, all the news media came to San Francisco, and ABC sent all their people. So now I had to deal with them, which I did. It was It was not a problem.
Let's talk about some of the innovations, some of the firsts that you did out in the field. Olympics, Winter Olympics.
I did the Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. I did the Winter Olympics in Calgary, where we put cameras and microphones in places like the ski jumps and the shooting gallery, the shooting competitions, and the media in Canada. I mean, I was working for ABC at that point, but the media in Canada saw what we were doing, and in the middle of the Olympics, they said, "Wait a minute, we need our people on your team," because we were getting all this acknowledgement for all the stuff we were doing. So then I bonded with the people from Canadian television,
But that really brings the event, the sport, alive when you can hear the blades of the skis hitting the snow,
and the moaning and groaning, and people making doing everything that miking the ice skating. And
yeah, how do they do that? Where's the best place to get that carving sound?
Shotgun mics, what we call shotgun, those long, thin microphones. We'd place them around the field, right? And have one audio person. All they did was adjust those microphones to make it sound good. Then we'd take that and put it in the broadcast. And then Roone Arledge saw all this stuff. And he said, "Whoa, this is a whole new thing," because he was getting into, better audio for ABC at that point and sports. And so I was now going on every, Monday Night Football and Olympics and doing everything. It was called Slutsky Audio, he'd call it. "We need Slutsky Audio over there."
Tell me about Slutsky Audio and the New York City Marathon.
Yes, I came up with a thing called the mic bike, right? Because I did the marathon every year, right?
Yeah, and it would be one person going by you and then no sound, right?
Yeah. So what I did is I had a couple guys, audio guys, because they couldn't keep up with the racers, right, in the marathon, right? So I had them go out with microphones on the front wheel of their bicycles, right? So they'd get in a cluster of riders, and you could hear them groaning and moaning and doing everything, and that became, again, Slutsky Audio. Yeah.
Likewise, the Kentucky Derby, right?
Oh, jeez, yes. I put more mics at the Kentucky Derby than they couldn't believe it. I put mics all the way around the track, right? And I had a separate audio room for just mixing those mics. We didn't mix it up with the announcers, right? There was like one person who was controlling all those microphones, and it became a big deal. It became a big deal.
What were they listening for in a horse race?
Oh, the not clippity clops, but the whatever sound there was, they wanted it, right? And it worked. It worked.
So audio was super important to them, but people at home, what were they listening on? Their TVs didn't have killer speakers, did they?
No, but my thinking was that if we put out a good, solid audio signal with stuff that you don't normally hear, and then have the guys in the broadcast booth where it's going out to the network, right? Enhance it a little. Now you got something special, Pay attention. Let's focus on audio, and instead of just the pictures and stuff. And that's what we did. And it wasn't just me. ABC had a great group of audio people, and they loved the chance to do something new instead of just having a parab or a mic in somebody's face or something.
Right. So how in the world do you then pivot into the world of politics and political debates?
Well, that's a good question.
It's Banner and Company, and my guest is live broadcast technical whiz Marty Slutsky. We'll be right back. Can you pinpoint the moment, or was it just a process?
Well, I got to a moment, commuting between New York and Nashville on weekends, and I told ABC, I'm going home. I said, look, I got to go to Nashville. I made up a story. I said, I got to go home. And I said, call me. I'll do shows. I'll do whatever you want. But I got to be in Nashville. My home base is Nashville. I got a call. It was out of the blue to me from Janet Brown at the Debate Commission. And she asked me to come to Washington and talk to her. All right? So I went to Washington and met her in the office for the Debate Commission. And she asked me if I'd produce the presidential debates, right?
And by produce, we're talking about more than just the sound.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Had you done something to that scale before?
I'd been around a lot of big TV, while I was at ABC. I'd seen how it worked. And then I went to Charter Broadcast in Atlanta, and we did the handover ceremony of Hong Kong. And I did a bunch of shows with them. And we had a nice talk. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. That's great. I would love to. So I became the executive producer of the debates, the presidential debates.
Starting when?
Bush Gore was the first one.
Do you recall the first?
Yes, I do.
Where
Bush
was it?
Oh yeah, that was. I recall all of them. I'll tell you. Yeah, Bush was great. I have a great Bush story.
Okay.
If I may.
Please.
Yes. So it was actually the first debate I was doing as the producer. It was at a college in Illinois, up in Illinois or somewhere there. Yeah. And so we have it all set up and everything. And Bush comes in with his entourage, all his hangers on and everything. And I meet him in the dressing room, and my job is to take him out, make him feel comfortable, show him where his lectern is and all this stuff, And as I'm walking out with him, with, his bodyguards and all his stuff, he turns to me and he goes, Marty, I heard you played with Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. I'm going, oh, it's like my life passed before my eyes. I was like, yes, Mr. President, it's true, but let's focus. We have a debate tonight. He goes, no, man, that's really cool. He was just fixated on it, I go, I'm going, oh, this is a career ender here, So we get up there on the stage, and all his handlers are around, and all my crew is out there, the audio guys and everything. And he keeps talking about it. And I said, come on, let's focus. You got a debate coming up. It's a big deal, He says, okay. And, he talks on his mic, and I show him, this is where your lectern is, and you're going to have this, and a microphone and all that, on it. And all of a sudden, I'm standing there talking to him, and on the PA system in the theater, they start playing Wooly Bully. I'm going, wait a minute, I'm going to die here. What are you doing? He had got his people to go to my audio guys and get them to play Wooly Bully. I'm going, I had a moment.
Did the room go up for grabs?
I think everybody was kind of stunned, because this is the president. You don't mess around. No, he had gotten ahead of everybody, and then he started dancing to a Wooly Bully on the stage. It was a stressful moment for me, but we survived. We survived. That really happened.
Makes for a great story. How much, the average person has no idea, but how much planning goes into that one evening at a university or college campus somewhere?
It starts a year out. It really gets serious a year out. I start going to the schools with my team, my audio, my cameraman, and all that stuff, and then the set designers come because our set is monstrous, and we do 3 sites every time there's an election.
Were you guys as concerned as they would be today with security?
Oh God, yeah. We have 2 Secret Service agents travel with us from day one to go to every single site, and they stay with us through the debate. They see everything we see, and actually we become really good friends.
Now, we had famously 2 presidential debates here in Nashville,
Yes.
2008 and 2020.
Yes.
One's got to wonder if the Slutsky audio had any play in getting those debates here. I know Belmont did a big song.
Actually, yeah, maybe. Yeah, Janet Brown, who's the boss of the debate commission, asked me if I would go to the university to talk to them about doing a debate, because she thought Nashville would be a perfect town for it. So I went, and the president at that point thought it was a great idea. He loved it, right? And
it put him on the map in some regards.
Well, internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we did it twice.
Do you recall any moment at any of the debates that you sat through? Are you at the console with phones on? Or?
When a debate is on? No. No, I have speakers right in front of me. I have a television monitor right in front of me, and I got several things. I got a routing switcher where I can watch all the cameras, and I also am getting the feed from the pool mobile unit. The one network broadcasts our debates, right? And I have I get a feed from the pool truck mobile unit, and I have them in my intercom panel, so I can talk to them and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" If you saw the set, right, between the two debaters, there's this wall, and I'm behind that wall with all the cameras in front of me where I can hear everything, see everything. I got intercom there to the pool mobile units, which are usually one of the networks, are doing the main broadcast. So I'm sitting there with Tammy Johnston, who I've been doing TV with forever. And I have the button to talk to the moderator.
Wow.
And I'm very careful about it. Very careful. I don't use it. I don't make comments. I don't do anything. I do things like tell them, you got 20 minutes to go. So they know if they got some serious questions they want to ask.
Get to it.
Get to it now.
So you must not watch TV and big productions like a normal person.
No. No. Well, I mean, I do enjoy watching, TV.
What are you most critical of?
Everything. Everything. Yeah, I mean.
What gets under your skin from an audio producer standpoint?
Oh, from audio? Bad audio. Bad audio or everybody talking at once or stuff that don't work for TV, pardon my French.
It was a debate this year that changed everything in terms of the ticket.
Yes.
Were you anticipating a series of debates between Trump and Biden and business as usual?
Early on, yes. Early on, we were ready for it. We were. But little by little, it kind of fell apart. Trump he didn't really want to do it. So if you don't want to do it, then you do things that show that, and he did. So we pulled the plug. We were all set. We had the sites, we had the schools, we'd been surveyed them, the Secret Service approved them and everything. We pulled the plug.
Was that disappointing to you?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it was, sure.
You're talking years of work.
Well, yeah, and as a citizen of the country, I thought it's important for the country to be able to put these two candidates next to each other and ask them the same question. That's what debates are for. Personally, I think the American public were handed a weak presentation, that this was not a proper discussion of the issues. This was a television show. This was a TV. This was not issues that relate to Americans.
With that said, do you think the debate as we know it, the televised series of debates, is dead?
I don't think so, because it's going on all over the world. We just got back from Washington, where debate organizations from all over the world came to Washington, and we do this every couple years because we have a huge international group. I mean, I've done debates in Africa and South America and everywhere with the Debate Commission, and it was a beautiful meeting for all the debaters, and everybody gets together and everybody gets to talk about their situation in their country, how the debates are working in their country, and it's just a wonderful time together.
Do you play anymore? Play music anymore?
Only in the house for fun. Only in the house for fun. Sharon puts up with me. I play the same old songs over and over and over again.
Okay, let's go out with a little McHenry Spring. Here they are, recorded live at Douglas Corner here in Nashville in 2013. This is What's Happened to You. Banner & Company is a production of the New Nashville Banner. Our producers are Steve Haruch and Andrea Tudhope. Original music by Verlin Thompson. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or go to NashvilleBanner.com. You're in good company. Well, we've come to the point in our podcast when we have you choose a question from our fishbowl.
I choose a question.
You choose a question, read it out loud, and answer it.
Is it one of these white things?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing the Art Carney.
Yeah. Art Carney, yeah. You know. Oh, okay. It's upside down. It's easier to read. From Gold Oliver.
Gerald Oliver.
Oh, Gerald. Thank you. Oliver. How can we
improve the public transportation in Nashville?
Oh, yeah. I have the answer. Stop people from moving here. Simple. Too many damn people. Too many people in this little hick town. Nashville's a little hick town. Let's not forget it. And think we're New York City or something. We're not. Oh, don't get me started on this one. My councilman got it from me the other day. It was like, Donaldson has become like Lower Broadway. Not only that, the traffic is insane.
Before we go, a little bonus for you this week. 3 very determined young people. They've been using their voices in a way you might not expect from 9-year-olds, protesting. Since last October, they've been speaking out and leading protests against the war in Gaza. Here now is an audio postcard from our Enterprise reporter, Laura Dean, edited and mixed by Andrea Tudhope.
I had a dream the other day. I was in Gaza and we were living in tents and we tried to cover ourselves with the blankets, but it was raining, so we had to cover the blankets on top of us, because there was no roof for the tent and it just got soaked. And like our parents aren't there, we were so scared. They used to send us with empty plastic jugs and we were barefoot. We had to walk across buildings that were falling to the ground. Once we got there, there was no water left. So like all that suffering, glass got on our feet for nothing when there's no water there and there's literally no lights. How are you gonna see? Don't know. On our way home, a building fell and then there was a child. They were trying to get her under the ground. Finally, when we got home, our family was gone. I woke up crying. It was horrible. I was terrified. I'm like, what we here in America do and what we fight about, simple things. Like, no, I want that chips. No, I want that chips. And them, no, I want my mother. Big difference. My name is Maryam Aish and I'm a 9-year-old Palestinian from Majd al-Asqalan.
So, my name is Karim Abed, I'm 9 years old and I'm Palestinian from Nablus.
My name is Fadi and I'm 9 years old and I started
protesting when I was like 8, I think. But I didn't know what I was doing and where was I going. But then when I knew, I tried like chanting and stuff like that. And I started like holding a Palestine flag because this is kind of funny, but I thought it was kind of fun to hold a Palestine flag and wave it around, yeah. I also try using my loudest voice ever.
Had you used a voice that loud before, or you're only just discovering it during the protests?
No, I also used it before. He's not Palestinian, he's from Tunisia, and he cares about our country, which is awesome. So I actually didn't know anything, and then I just started asking my dad what protests were for, and then he started to show me what was happening in Gaza. He started to show me where we're from, and I felt ashamed that like I didn't know anything about my country and what was going on. I felt like I went upstairs to my room and I was like, shame on me, because I didn't know what was happening, which I felt like it wasn't right at all. And then I started learning and learning and learning, and this is where I end up now. The news is on like before school, even like this morning, the news is on. When I come back from school, it's on. My mom or dad sometimes are watching the news, and I go and like ask a question about my homework, for an example, and then I look at the news. Seeing the kids in the hospital like dead is really sad. About 50% of all of Gaza, they are children. And I don't like to see children like our age be bombed. It's not fair. At least give them their parents. At least give them something to drink, something to eat. When you're at home and you're thirsty or hungry, you haven't ate for like an hour. Compared to Gaza, when they haven't ate for at least a few days, and they eat grass. If they find flour on the ground, they're happy to eat that. They die from starvation, they die from hunger, they die from thirst. They literally lose their hair from how scared they are. I'm a child, children like me. I want to play, I want to have freedom, I want to eat, I want to grow up, I want my dreams to be true. So do they. Like at this point, I don't even want to eat, I don't even want to party, I don't even want to do nothing. I don't even know why I'm going to school if they can't even learn. I just can't bear watching my country start to fade away. The least we can do is like protest, pray for them, and donate. While I'm saying my speech, deep in my heart, every word I say is true. How all of those kids, women and men, all of them are dying by bombs and being burned alive. Every word I say in my speech, I feel it down in my heart, and it hurts a lot. My younger brother, Ahmed, at first he wasn't interested at all, but then he saw me. I was trying to convince him. Now he feels like, why can't we have a protest every week, every day? And then Layla, my little sister, when we get home, my mom is like, what do we want? Justice, they all say. And then, when do we want it? Layla says, tomorrow. Or next week, tomorrow. Next Tuesday, Monday. She keeps saying, Gaza must have food and water. Israel, stop the slaughter. She's 2 years old and she keeps saying this. I'm like, Layla, how in the world do you know this? She's like, Mudahara. That means protest. I don't have a feeling. I know that this generation, it will be the generation to free Palestine.